Hello and welcome to the TSI AFL studios. Nat Edwards and Robert Walls with you. The Tigers have lost their past 3 games by under a goal and they're now out of the finals race. Robert, what is your assessment on them this season?
Nat, it's a really interesting one watching Richmond, and if you're a Richmond supporter you must be tearing your hair out because the season promised plenty, and as it's turned out, it looks like they're just going to miss out. Now, they've lost 10 games for the year. 9 of those games they've lost by 21 points or less. 6 of their games they've lost by 12 points or less. The last 3 weeks they've lost by 4 points, 4 points and 2 points. That is heartbreaking stuff if you're a Tiger supporter. Where are they going wrong? Is the glass half full? Is it half empty? I tend to think that it's half full. I think they're on the right track, and there's some fine tuning that needs to be made by Damien Hardwick, and I think he is the man for the job. But watching the Tigers play, I just have a feeling that if they want to be a top 6 team, obviously they do. I think there are some players that are in their regular starting lineup that they have to replace, because I'm not sure that they're going to be good enough to be top 6 players. I'm talking about Daniel Jackson. I'm talking about Jake King. I think that Robin Nahas, he has to play more consistently than he does. He's good one week, not so good the next week. I think that Titch Edwards is another one who can be more consistent in his output. They're desperate, and you look at their back line, you've got players like Morris, who is really courageous, goes hard at the ball, but there are times when I think he could mark it and just settle down a little bit more. Some of their midfield players have to get better. Now, all clubs, particularly the better clubs, and I'm talking about your Collingwoods and your Geelongs and your Hawthorns, they have a midfield that runs deep. I'm not so sure that this Richmond lineup has that.
So you talk about them being on the right track, but if they are going to take that next step, where does the improvement need to come?
If you have a look at their A-grade midfielders, I'm talking about players like Cochin and Martin and Delidio. I'd have Shane Tuck in that group as well. They are very, very good players, but you then go after that and you're looking at the other players who come into the midfield. Foley's a very good player, but he's been out injured. But then you're talking about players like Grigg, Edwards, Jackson, and there's a young fella there, Brandon Ellis, who's just starting to prove himself. But I just think that their B-grade midfielders have to be better than what they are at the moment. Now, that may happen with some of the improvement in players like Ellis, no doubt about that, but perhaps they have to look at recruiting some speed and some class into that midfield group, because at the moment they just don't cut it.
All right, thank you very much for joining us on TSI AFL. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.